Cessna Tree 2 Bravo, continue taxi.
Taxiing to General Aviation Parking via Taxiway Piedmont 6209er.
Roger, Cessna Tree 2 Bravo.
Hello folks, welcome to the second part of the tutorial here where we're going to take off, fly, and approach White Plains from Philadelphia International. And we're here taxiing right along. This plane coasts along just fine. So most of the time you just have to hit the brakes. You gotta love the flying around of these things. The traffic. There's a lot of bugs they still gotta fix. It's funny. You can change your views a little bit here, make it easier for you to see the taxiway if you'd like. Yeah, I like the add-ons that I got. It's not too much. You get too many add-ons, you can get quality issues. It's a pretty graphically intense program. You know, you gotta have a pretty decent computer to run this thing. Mine's not the best. I'm running an i5 in this thing, so I definitely don't have the latest and greatest. I don't run it in 4K. Yeah, that's unrealistic. You wouldn't have an A380 here. Not in Philadelphia, I don't think. So I use the blue arrows here just for this. And what I will do here is I'll turn it off here in a second because I don't like having this on for landing purposes. Now you should be able to turn this stuff off and on via here, but I noticed lately you can't. It's grayed out. So I don't know what the deal is there. So we're just going to go over quickly here and turn navigation aids to medium. That gets rid of that, because I know where I'm at now. Alright, we're here at our runway. Just about. There's no true hold short line here either. Anybody coming in? No. Wait, switch over to tower. West IFR clearance.
Philadelphia Towers, Cessna November, Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo ready for departure runway 27 left IFR to White Plains.
Cessna November, Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo, altimeter 29er tree, wind tree 22 at 24. Cleared for takeoff runway 27 left.
Cleared for takeoff runway 27 left, Cessna November, Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo.
Alright, so we got our takeoff clearance. Start the clock. Turn your ELT on. That should be flashing. Landing lights should be on. Strobe should be on. If it was nighttime, we'd throw a few more lights on. Wing lights. I don't know, we'd probably do that with taxiing. Oh, something I forgot to do. Yeah, tech list. The only place you can see your trim is here. In the So we'll set it to -4. If you read the chart, that's what it should be. Alright. So we're set there. Alright. Set our flaps. We only need flaps 1 right now. Alright, flaps 1. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Before takeoff. Ice protection is needed. Landing lights on. Taxi lights off. Pulse lights on. Anti-collision lights on. Chronograph is started. Park and brake release. Technically, you're supposed to set it. I never do. I always just hold my feet on the brakes. Nav button is needed. What we will do is hit the heading bug. So, boom, that brings the heading bug. Push it in. Brings it right to there. I will turn heading on. Okay? N1, release brakes. Full throttle. Alright. Takeoff power set and achieved. We have 2 good engines. 80 knots, check. 100 knots. V1, rotate. V2, positive rate, gear up. V2 plus 20, flaps up. Flight level change.
Cessna 3-2 Bravo, contact Philadelphia departure.
Climb power.
133.875. Good day.
.875 for Cessna 3-2 Bravo.
As you can see, a lot happens on the takeoff very quickly. So you have to be ready for it. Alright, we're going to come up to 220 knots now. I have armed the auto throttle. So we are in. And we're going to switch over to departure.
Philadelphia departure Cessna November 3-1-2 Bravo is at 3,300 feet, climbing 7,000 feet.
I'm turning the icers on.
Cessna November 3-1-2
We're coming into the
Bravo,
clouds.
Philadelphia departure, altimeter 29.9 continue to ditch as planned.
Alright. So we got our ditch. So we're going to go over to nav mode. And she's going to automatically turn the ditch. I don't know if you noticed, but before I even turned the icers on, I had ice starting to form up on the windows. So, because we are definitely
Cessna 3-2 Bravo, contact Washington Central
negative outside here.
132.525. Good day.
I definitely jumped over the 7,000 feet there. Oh, I know why. I don't have autopilot on. Autopilot's on.
Cessna 3-2 Bravo, did you hear my last transmission?
132.525 for Cessna 3-2 Bravo.
That's alright.
Washington Center Cessna November 3-1-2 Bravo is at 7,900 feet, descending 7,000 feet.
Cessna November 3-1-2
That was an oopsie.
Bravo, Washington Center, altimeter 29.9 continue to ditch as planned.
See what I mean? There's so much going on, you could easily
Cessna
forget.
3-2 Bravo, contact Philadelphia departure on 133.875. Good day.
133.875 Cessna 3-2 Bravo. Philadelphia departure Cessna November 3-1-2 Bravo, 7,200 feet.
Alright, let's increase our speed up to 245 knots.
Philadelphia departure, altimeter 29.9 continue to ditch as planned.
I'm also going to make sure that we are going up to 17,000 feet.
Philadelphia departure Cessna 3-2 Bravo. Request 17,000 feet.
Cessna 3-2 Bravo, climb and maintain 13,000 feet, expect 17,000 feet.
Climb and maintain 13,000 feet, expect 17,000 feet Cessna 3-2 Bravo.
Alright, I'm not going to edit that. That's a mistake I made, and yeah. As you can see, I've made plenty of mistakes already. But that's part of it. You just learn from it, you know. I should have hit the autopilot button when I hit the flight level change button. Alright, so right now I put myself at 13,000 feet. The plane doesn't know how to get to 13,000 feet, though. But if you hit FLC, it'll take your speed and hold you at 245 knots, and it'll climb up to 13,000 feet, holding that airspeed. That's what the auto throttle does. As you can see, it's increasing there. I still have the de-icer on.
Cessna 32 Bravo, contact Washington Center on 124.775. Good day.
Climbing at 6,500 feet per minute. That's a nice climb rate.
124.775 Cessna Tree 2 Bravo. Washington Center, Cessna November
All right,
Tree
above
1
10,000
Tree 2
feet,
Bravo is at 10,000
landing lights can go
feet,
off.
climbing 13,000 feet.
They are off.
Cessna November Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo.
You increase your speed to 270 knots.
Decimal 9 tree. Continue to base as planned.
Alright, we're already up at 13,000 feet. We're at 270 knots. We are on our way to ditch.
Cessna Tree 2 Bravo climb and maintain 17,000 feet.
Let's back that out a little bit.
Climb and maintain 17,000 feet Cessna Tree 2 Bravo.
Alright. If you notice, I'm raising my airspeed bug here to 17,000 feet. Hit flight level change. And we will go up at 270 knots. And it'll pick whatever vertical speed it needs to hold 270 knots, and we'll go up. You can also do this via the VS button. That won't hold your airspeed, but what it'll do is it'll hold whatever speed you want to go up at. So 1,200 feet per minute. But you get up really fast here. It's good weather for climbing, so. We got one taco to go, We'll be at 17,000 feet.
Washington Center Executive 642 is at flight level 330, descending 10,000 feet.
Exit 642 Washington Center. Continue as planned. Cessna Tree 2 Bravo contact New York Center on 128.3. Good day.
Good day.
128.3 Cessna Tree 2 Bravo.
Spirit Wings 9er 22 traffic is 8 o'clock 2 miles at flight level 250 twin jet. Report them in sight.
New York Center, Cessna November Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo 16,900 feet.
Cessna November Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo New York Center altimeter 29.9er to continue to base as planned.
Alright. We're on our way. So, I can turn the de-icers off at this point. We're not in the clouds. Pitot heat stays on. By the way, this is the de-icers here. Pitot heat's there. I did turn that on before takeoff. The throttle's still acting up. You can see what it's doing. It's doing some weird stuff. Bugs. Full bugs. Probably should have had that arm too, my spoilers arm, before takeoff. Alright, let's look at our list. During climb, auto throttle's engaged, autopilot's engaged, flight level change is engaged, nav button on, heading is needed, ice prediction is needed. Cruise altitude, barometer set at 29.902 above 18,000, we're not going to get there. Land lights are off. Ice protection is needed. Cruise checks are complete. All right, so now we want to think about where we need to be in the approach. All right, this is going to happen pretty quickly. So
New York Center, Endeavor
we got to be at 17,000 feet.
11,000 feet, descending 10,000 feet.
Between 17,000 and 15,000
Endeavor
there.
5444 New York Center, altimeter 29.902, continue as planned.
So let's bring up the chart again.
New York Center, Delta 1274 is at flight level 230, descending 10,000 feet.
So by
Delta
Westo,
1274 New York Center,
we need to be
continue
at
as planned.
6,000 feet, right? Right.
Endeavor 49990, contact Washington Center on 124.775. Good day.
So what we want to do,
New York Center, United 1139.
Let's go down here
passing
to Westo.
17,900 feet, descending 10,000 feet. JetBlue 29er, 2TR 70 miles
put
south.
6,000 feet in.
Descend and maintain 3,000 feet. Expect ILS runway 31 left approach via chance transition.
All right.
Cleared to chance.
So what that will do,
United 1139er, New York Center, continue as planned.
Bruno is 17,000.
171 you are 5, 8 miles east. Descend and maintain 2,000 feet. Expect vectors visual runway 35 approach. Going to 124.775 Endeavor, 499er 0.
So let's see if we make, so what we did here is I entered in my 6,000 feet for Westo, 15,000 feet for Deer Park, because that's what our constraint is. Bruno 17,000 feet.
Expect ILS runway 31 left approach via chance transition, cleared to chance.
So by sound we have to be at or above 13,000.
Endeavor 5,
We are.
444 contact
Like
Washington
when?
Center on 124.775.
We have to be at or above 11,000.
Good day.
We are. By Zon, we have to be at 8,747.
124.775 for Blue Street, flight
Doesn't matter. There
171.
is no other restrictions other than Westo. All right. So once that's in,
124.775 Endeavor.
You hit
flight
VNAV.
444.
hit VNAV enabled.
Qatari 17364 contact Washington Center on 124.775. Good day.
New York Center, Delta 2422 is passing flight level 205, descending 2,000 feet.
Delta 242 to New York Center. Continue to chance as planned.
What will happen is that we're at 17,000 feet. We're going to
Going
get
to 124.775. Qatari 17364. FlexJet 410 contact New York Center on 118.975. Good day.
what's going to happen is we are now have our speeds here,
200 contact New York Center
and we'll
on
get visual
118.975.
guidance.
Good day.
All right, so how long do we have to get till we hit the Bauno? Bauno is 6 minutes. So what I did here, folks, is I quieted down ETC so you could hear me better. They're very interruptive, and there's talking a lot on this flight, so this way you can hear me. So what ultimately is going to happen here is we're going to get to Bauno, we're going to start descending, and what I'll have to do is I'm going to put this, see this? I'm putting this down to 6,000 feet. Because that is our lowest altitude. Alright. The minute we hit bound, we're going to get a top of descent profile here to meet this. Okay? It's not showing up yet because we haven't hit bound yet. So that's why you don't see anything here yet, because we have to hit bounds. VNAV waypoint is active. What will happen is we'll get a top of descent here after we go past bound at 17,000 feet. Now, technically, we don't have to be at 17,000 feet, but I put the restriction in at 17,000. Then we got to be at 15,000 above that and all the way through. So what I'm going to do is after bound, I'm going to ask ATC, and this is what you need to do in order to get around ATC, is you have to ask ATC for the altitude that you want. So it's not going to automatically vector you down. But I have myself armed and ready to go at 6,000 feet, because that's when I get to Westo, I need to be at 6,000 feet. So we're ready to go there. And you'll see what will happen. But when we get to bound, I'm going to slow it down to 250 knots. Because we have an airspeed restriction at 250 knots to cross Deer Park. And then we'll be ready to go. So, and you'll see what will happen here up on the pilot's display here, the PFD, or PDF, I'm sorry. No, PFD. Yeah, this is the PFD. So you will see what will happen up on the PFD. It's very similar to an iOS approach. But we have to get the bone first. That's our restriction right now. Technically, it's not a restriction. I'm supposed to be, no higher than 17,000 feet. But we'll leave it at 17,000. I'm going to acknowledge my handoff here. Other than that, you're just taking the view. There's not much view here. What's our altitude? 29.88. Yeah, we're set. Good. Here's Long Island. There's Long Island. So there's not a lot to do at cruise altitude. Like I said, I'm not going to went any faster because we have to come right down to 250 knots again. So there's no point in going really fast here. The key is to stay in front of the aircraft. All right? Be on top of your stuff. For example, here's a perfect example. So we're not doing the iOS approach. Okay? Oh, here we go. See? Flashing top of descent within 1 minute. So basically, that's coming down right now. All right. I'm going to ask for 6,000 feet once I get through. So if I come down to this box here, what you're going to see is this is going to start coming down. Air traffic is way too busy today. Oh, shut up. I think you can't get a word in edgewise. This is why air traffic control sometimes is a pain to use. There, I got a word in edgewise. All right. So we're going to hit the VS button. Okay. And what's going to happen here is time at top of descent is 2 minutes. Alright? So, once the top of descent hits, that's going to start coming down. You're going to want to put that in. So, our restriction is 15,000 feet. And what happens is we're going to go down at a rate of roughly that. So, to get a 3% flight path. So, oops. Back. So, we can actually punch in whatever number we wanted. But to get a 1,700 rate per minute, that will give us at 15,000 feet before we get to Deer Park. There's our plane. We're already flying along the thing. So, Bruno, we hit 17,000. Less than a minute, we're going to be going down to 15,000 feet. And we're just going to hold that 1,700 feet per minute descent rate. Okay? So we want this arrow and this arrow to kind of line up. See how it's coming down? And that should give us our proper descent. So, yeah, they're giving me a little bit of crap, but that's fine. So now we're going to 1,700 feet. We're also going to back off to 250 knots. You're going to try to keep that arrow and that arrow together. And that's how you use VNAV. The VNAV up here doesn't work, by the way. This doesn't do a thing. You can hit it, it's not going to do anything. Alright, so we were at or above. Now see, she's vectoring me. So they're giving me the ILS approach 3-4. So I'm somewhat ignoring them. If you think you're falling too far, oops, then you can loosen up on this. But the idea is to keep that in line here. So I just slowed up a little bit. I went down to 1300. And that's slowly going to come back down. So as you can see, I got my rate down to 1360. So anyway, so I'm going to be at or above 13,000 feet there, at or above 11,000 feet there. Where are we at? Yeah, I missed that one. As you can see, that's why. We're not going to miss this next one, though. See, now it's coming down now. That's because I made my rate of descent. So, it's coming down. Then we'll back it back off again. So, my vertical descent now is 11,000. Or 1,100, I'm sorry. So 1,164 is my rough to hold that, maintain that. To get to 6,000 feet now by Westo. Below 10,000 feet, put your landing lights on. I'm going to preemptively put my defroster or my de-icers on. I'm a little high here. So you got to watch this rate of descent, and you got to watch where you're going to be. So by Westo, we got to be at 6,000. That's our only other flight restriction. Just watch that needle. Keep that needle and that needle together as best as you can. So you might have to play with your vertical speed here a little bit and change this. So right now we're falling at 1,200. So I'm going to back it off to 1,100 now. See how it does that?
Going to 124.525 Cessna 382 Bravo. Boston Center Cessna November 3132 Bravo is at 9,100 feet, descending 2,000 feet.
Cessna November 3132 Bravo, Boston Center altimeter 29er decimal 85, continuous flight.
altimeter. Alright. Now we're getting the ALS approach at the runway 34. Still got to keep an eye on this. 1,600, let's see, what was that, 1,000 feet? Alright, so back it off a little bit. We'll go to 1,000 feet per minute. Alright. So, let's go down to here. Let's go to home. Let's go to charts. Alright, your airport's automatically in here. Let's look at the approach. ILS 34. It's going to bring up the chart. 109.7. You got to put that in the nav frequency. Alright, 109.7's in. And that's all we need. Flight plan. VNAV, 1,021 feet. We're holding that pretty good.
Going to 128.1 Cessna Tree 2 Bravo.
Once I pass Westo, I will go down to 2,000 feet. We're going to be at Westo in the next 30 seconds, so.
Boston Center Cessna November 313 2 Bravo is at 6,500 feet, descending 2,000 feet.
Cessna November 313 2 Bravo, Boston Center altimeter 29.85, continue as planned.
So, now we have no restrictions. So now we can go down to 2,000 feet. Alright. We can actually hit flight level change and go down. We passed Westo. I'm going to put my first set of flaps in.
Brickyard 559er, 6 contact Boston Center on 124.521. Good day. Delta 127, contact New York approach on 126.
But see how much stuff goes on your landing approach? There's a lot going on. So in the background, I have the ILS approach set up. We're technically flying the VNAV approach, but I have the ILS approach set up. VNAV is no longer available or needed anymore, so but see, now I have time to set up. Alright. We're going to arm our spoilers. We're at 2,000 feet. I'm going to slow this aircraft down. Let's get her down to about 160 knots. Something we have to figure out is our V speeds for landing. Alright, so 27,160-ish. We'll probably be below 27,000 feet or pounds. So we got to set our speeds up. So let's go to V speed. Speed bugs. Take off. They're off. Landing. In our chart that I have here, 108, 118, 112, 123. Let's do 112, 123. That's roughly where we're supposed to be. 112, 123. All on. Home. You can see on our nav 1 has not picked up yet. We can see our glide slope is here for the R nav. I'm going to put another set of flaps in.
Southwest 435 Boston Center altimeter 29er decimal feet 6 continue to Hotel Foxtrot Delta.
Okay, so minimums. Let's look at our chart.
Southwest 435 contact Boston Center on 12.
Granted, you could have done this if you have a lot longer cruise. You could do this a lot ahead of time. So, iOS to 742 feet for all jets. So, over here in minimums, you can only do it from this window. Minimums. What was it again? 742. I think 742. 742. Radio altitude. Enter. Home. Put the timer back up. So I have the iOS set in the background. We have the RNAV approach on right now. Still have my de-icer on, if you notice. Temperature's still below freezing here. Alright. You can see where we are in here. Coming in on the approach. If I focus in a little more.
126.4 Cessna Tree 2 Bravo. New York approach Cessna November Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo 2,000 feet.
Cessna November 313 to Bravo, New York approach altimeter 29.86 continue as planned.
So we have our minimums in. They show up right here. Alright. Our radio altimeter's up.
Entry 47, you are 16 miles north. Descend and maintain 2,000 feet. Expect vector, iOS runway 34 approach.
Still don't know why this thing's acting weird. Whatever.
Descend and maintain 2,000 feet. Expect vectors iOS runway 34 approach exit jet 347.
So, let's look at this. So, we got JetAx is here. JetAx is also the waypoint here at the start the iOS approach. So, when we get to here, we're going to start to turn inbound. As you can see, the IOJZ has shown up. Alright. What's its signifier here? Should be IOJZ. There it is, IOJZ. So you know that the iOS approach is now in here. Okay? What will happen is this may automatically flip over to approach. You might see this will turn green. Everything that was magenta will actually turn green. If it does, that's when you want to hit your approach button right here. Okay? That'll put you on the iOS approach. So we got our minimums in. We're pretty much configured for landing. We got our spoilers on. Got most of our flaps in. We're not at full flaps yet. And our speed is, 160. What's our approach speed? It will be 200 or 124 knots, I think it was. What is it? What is the CRV speeds again? 112 was the 123. You got to give or take a little bit for wind. All right. So for wind's sake, if you have any kind of wind at all. So we begin in our approach clearance.
Present heading at altitude. Tower on 118.575 Cessna Tree 2 Bravo.
Tune the tower. Contact tower.
Cessna November Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo 15 miles east inbound ILS runway Tree 4 approach.
Cessna November, tree 1 tree, 2 Bravo Tower. Altimeter 29.86 wind tree at 2 west. Cleared ILS runway tree 4 approach.
Wind's pretty significant.
Exit runway when able.
Cleared ILS runway Tree 4 approach Cessna Tree 2 Bravo.
Wind is pretty significant. So once again, let's go back to our chart. Here you can see the aircraft's coming in. We're about ready to intercept here. Okay, so we're going to come in, intercept, and go in. Here's our vertical profile. All right, so
127 for contact ground on 121.82.
you can either switch to approach now, as long as you're tuned in. You can always go over to nav 1 here, and it'll follow your approach in. But we're on the nav. We'll just let it do its thing here for a little bit. Alright. I'm going to slow it up. We're going to drop the gear. We're going to go down to 130 knots. But this is what I mean being behind the aircraft. You never want to get behind the aircraft. Alright? The only other thing I haven't done is actually listen to the ATIS, which you should do. So, let's see what the ATIS is here at White Plains. 133.8. Alright, so if I go over to here, 133.8 transfer there. We're going to go nav 1. And hit approach. So there's our glide slope. So we're following the localizer, so we're attached onto here now on our localizer approach. Here's your glide slope. Our dot hasn't come down yet. We're going to just slow down a hair. So approach is 123. I'm just going to about 127. Let's see if I got the runway in sight. We have golf. All right. Turning inbound. So we are fully configured for flight. We had plenty of time to do it. This is why I flew that approach. If you look at our chart, here we are. Glide slope should be coming down shortly. I have the airport in sight. I have the runway in sight. Here comes our glide slope. I'm just going to bleed a little tiny bit more off. I'll hold it about a 125 airspeed. Everything looks good. I'm going to move our heading. Let's see what our best approach instructions are. This approach climb to 3,000, heading. Okay. Once we are on the glide slope, you should see a GS come up here. There it is, GS. Outer marker beaten. I'm going to set. That's our outer marker beacon. Alright, we're full flaps. Gear is set. Spoilers armed. We look good. We look good. We look good. Our profile looks good. Nice controlled landing. And that's what you want. Give yourself time. Don't let the aircraft get in front of you. We got some wind here. It's definitely gusting. We're just a hair left, but we're all right. Plane's doing a good job holding it.
Minimums.
Landing.
Minimums.
There's our minimums. We could not see the runway. We would need to take off at this point. Go around. We're a little low on the glide slope. Disconnecting autopilot. I am manually flying it now. I got the pappies, white and red.
500.
Watching my airspeed, holding 123.
400. 400.
A little high. It's alright, I want to clear these trees. A little high. It's alright.
100. 50.
Leveling off. Bleeding the air off. Let it settle and a little flare. Brakes, spoilers are up. Good. Didn't really need reverse thrust at the end there, but that's all right. Take the runway here. Take the taxiway, I mean. Alright. Come to a stop. Make sure you're cleared the runway. Oh. We are cleared the runway. Alright, welcome to White Plains, everybody. Let's clean it up. Flaps are up. Landing lights off. Strobe lights off. Taxi lights on. The ice are off. Pitot heat off. Yes, I heard you.
121.825 for Cessna Tree 2 Bravo.
Taxi to
Cessna
parking.
November Tree 1 Tree 2 Bravo, request taxi to parking.
Turn all that off.
Taxiing to General Aviation Parking via taxiway Charlie, cross runway Tree 4 Bravo, cross runway 16 Foxtrot, Charlie Delta, cross.
Alright, this is where we turn this back on again. Only reason I turn it off is it'll set up something on your approach that I don't like, little boxes and stuff. You can always try it out. Oops, don't want to do that.
Runway 11 Delta Cessna Tree 2 Bravo.
Alright. It's kind of hard to fly and articulate at the same time, but hopefully you guys got something out of what I was doing. Anyway, we're here at White Plains. This is also an add-on. Just cleaning up the aircraft. Taxiing in. She just wants to go. Crossing the runway, all the lights on. Vacating the runway, lights back off. And our parking spot's right up here. This also makes this nice for parking too. By doing it this way with the box and everything, just let you know where you're parking. It's a little easier. You can use it or you don't have to. Like I said, there's still definitely a lot of bugs, but we got our marshaller up in front of us. He's giving me the direct come in. There he is. Notice he's going to lose his one light right here once this turns yellow or green. Yeah, see, it's gone. This thing has the weirdest bugs. And here we come in. A little further. Alright. Brakes set. Parking brake set. Engines off. Shut down. And that's it, folks. All right, well, thank you for joining me on this flight. Hopefully you got something out of it. I know I'm not the best teacher in the world, but, you know, just keep watching the videos. You know, you'll probably pick up more and more. I didn't get into the traffic really here too much. There's just so much with this aircraft to get into, but this was just a basic flight on how to get started, how to set up your flight plan inside the, that's the biggest thing, setting up your flight plan and flying the actual flight. So, but I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the subscribe button and the bell. I appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next video. All right, take care, everyone. Thank you.